Are you coming back to school with me? We could have done it all so easily.
Hi, my name is Craig Thompson Wood. I'm your host on Teaching with Board Games, here today to talk to you about Baamboozle. Baamboozle is an online game it's great for reviewing different topics, really well suited for ESL, ELL classrooms. So if you're an ESL or ELL teacher or want to review some things which involve speech, parts of speech, lots of different things you can do on here. You'll sort of see, I'm going to just show you some of the games that are on here and how it works. And then you can decide for yourself how you might use it in your classroom. But as I was saying, I think the implications for how it'd be used by the ESL, ELL teachers is pretty obvious. So I really think it's a strong choice for those ones. But this is also something I've been looking at, and I was mentioning in my last update, that I want to look at games which we can be using during this time that we're in these COVID classrooms. So whether you are an online teacher looking for ways to engage your students through fun games, this is a solid choice. Or if you're even in the classroom, this is something you'd be doing with the students in the classroom, where you're just projecting this onto a screen and they play along with you in the class. Because one thing I'm looking at in the classroom is that you can't be doing a lot of the same things that you might be doing when we're not in the COVID times. So you can't be having the students sharing dice and resources and cards and things like that, because that's just something we can't do right now. You can't have the students getting into smaller groups and being so close to each other, because there's all the physical distancing necessary. So with this kind of game, you're still being able to play a game. You're still able to have fun and teach the learning and help them to learn in a fun way, an engaging way, but also in a safe way. So this is something, as I say, I want to make more of a focus on ways we can make learning fun in the classroom while still being safe during these COVID times. So this is the main screen for Baamboozle. Once you have logged in, you've made your account and everything, then you come to this screen. It gives you the option to upgrade. There are some different benefits to upgrading, and I will talk about those a little bit. I'm not familiar with all of the things because I have not upgraded myself, but I am aware of a couple here. So let me just go into show you some of the games and how this works. So first, in the home screen here, so this home button here is going to take you just to here where we are right now. So that's where it's going to bring you back to. The My Library is anything that I have, like games, is any games that I've made, and I actually haven't made any of my own games right now because there are so many out there. I found that I've been able to find games that suit my needs without making my own right now, but making my own games in the future is definitely something I'm planning on doing. So folders, if I want to start to organize games that other people have made, to say, okay, here's some great language games, here's some great math games, here's some great science games, I can do that. I can put those into these different folders and organize them so that way I can find the ones that I want. Likes, so if there's games that I like, then I can put, I can indicate those, and that way the games I like will be easy for me to find again. So if I'm scrolling through things, oh, I like that one, I can just click the like button, and then it's going to be kept for me to find. And then following, what people, if there's a particular creator of games that I think that they're doing some really interesting stuff, I can follow them, and that way, anytime that they're making new stuff, I can find their new stuff easily because I'm following them. All right, so going on to the games. News is just news around Baamboozle. I'm not going to explore that one right now, but let's just go right into the games. So the games is going to take you to this page here, and it just has a whole wide assortment of games here on a whole variety of different topics. So, but this is what you're going to be seeing in Baamboozle. And if you want, you're going to look in here for what kinds of games that you want, and so think about what it is that you're doing. So if I'm looking, if I'm doing with my students right now in class, I'm doing the respiratory system. So I might type in respiratory system, and I might try and find a game that's going to help me with the review of the respiratory system for my students. So the first thing I want to look at when I look at this is, because I have a class with 25 students, and I want to make sure that the game is going to have at least 25 questions, because otherwise it's going to make a game board with less than 25, and then some of my students aren't going to be able to participate, unless they just, anybody on one team can answer, but I like to make it that each student has a chance to answer on their own. That's the way I do it. And so this one here, so it shows you in the bottom left corner the number of questions. So it says here there's 16 questions for this one, so that one's out for me. This one has 55 questions, but this one's the solar system, not the respiratory system. 17 questions, 22 questions, so I'm just A&P review, respiratory and circulatory system. So I would just look around until I can find the one that, okay. So, well, there's more pages, so I can keep looking, but I don't want to belabor this point here. Okay, so that's all a bunch of different systems, respiratory and circulatory system. Okay, I'm going to go back to the previous page. I noticed there was one here at 24 pages. So maybe on the day that I'm doing this, I realized that one of my students is away. So I'm just going to go check out this one. I have 24 things. Okay, which lung has a cardiac notch, the most superior part of the pharynx? This is definitely beyond my student's grade 5 level. So that's what you're doing. You're going to come into the game and you're going to preview the game to make sure that it is going to be suitable for your kids. And this one is definitely not suitable for mine. I'm not going to keep looking for one that has the right number of questions. Instead, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you, one that is, what do you call it, trying to see air sacs in the lungs, the primary muscle for respiration, what is the process taking air into our body, the pharynx, the vibration produce sound, what is it, okay, 4 organs, the respiratory. Okay, so this seems like there's good questions here for my students. This would be something good for them. So I'm going to go with this one. Now, there's only 21 questions, but let's just go with it for now. So in doing this, you have some options. Once you found the one that you like, so I might click like for this, so I can click the like button if I wanted it. And you can do different things. So for example, I could study this one. So what I might want to do first is I like the slideshow option, but the slideshow option is something that you need the Plus membership for. So I mean, just to show you what it would be, it's giving you all the slides and the questions that the creator has made for this thing, and it is gives you a chance to show it on a screen and discuss it and talk about it as a class and make sure that they have all the answers before going into the final Baamboozle. This is a chance to review it and make sure that they're aware. Okay, so you go through the things, and then they remind you here that you have to have the unlocked with the Baamboozle Plus. All right, so that's that one. So let's go back to here. So once you've done the slideshow, or if you feel that the students are prepared enough, you can always have them do the study on their own. Okay, and the study on their own, so what they can do is they can go to these things and they can, on their own thing, they can look at the questions and answer which ones they want. So give 4 organs to the respiratory system. So they think, okay, lungs, trachea, diaphragm, and the bronchus. Okay, and lungs, bronchus, trachea, and, well, they didn't put diaphragm, but I think diaphragm is important, so I'll just say okay. And what it does then, it tracks your progress. So I got 1 right, so I'm at 100% so far. What happens in the diaphragm when we exhale? It relaxes and moves the air to push up. And so say, oops, I didn't get that one right. So now I'm at 50%. So it's going to track my whole progress as I go through this. And each student can do it on their own, or maybe the students, you can do this as a class, and students can answer, and you can score as a class. However you choose to do it, it's just a great way to do it and to see. It gives the teacher a quick snapshot too as to, are they ready? I mean, do they know the stuff well enough, or should you maybe review it a bit more before you go on to the game? Anyway, so once you're done with that, you go back into this thing here. When you're ready to play the game, at any point that you feel that you're ready, you just click the play button here, and it's going to give you some options on how many teams you're going to play with, the grid size. So I usually like to just play with 2 teams, but it's completely up to you. And then the grid size, because I'm going for the maximum number, I will go for the biggest number there. I'd like to make sure I get all my students in. And this one, the things here is going to indicate what kinds of things you have in the game. So so the quiz is just the questions. Questions and power-ups. Now, power-ups are almost like, if you think of like Jeopardy, where you get you get the right question that gives you double Jeopardy and you can double up your points. There's things like that, but I am not a big fan of the quote-unquote power-ups, because they just do things like steal 15 points from this team, lose 10 points or something. You just happen to choose one, and it's not. it's just points or things for nothing. It's not rewarding, a correct answer or anything like that. It's just taking points away or giving points or whatever for nothing. And it's just, the first time we played, one team was already far ahead, and they kept just getting power-ups, which was like taking points away from the other team, giving themselves more points. It was just completely demoralizing for the other team. They thought, well, what's the point even? Every time we pick something, it's just not working out for us. Anyway, so for my personal opinion, I don't like the power-ups. So the classic junior with easy power-ups, I haven't even tried that. Once I figured out what the power-ups are, so I just went to the quiz, questions only. So it's going to look like that. Actually, now I'm just going to jump back here. And I want to show you some of these other things. So the options here, these are going to be things that you need a plus membership for. So things you can do to enhance the game in other ways. So that's the options, and then the power ups. Again, you have different power ups you can use here. But again, you'd need the plus membership to do that. And then the themes. So the themes is kind of an odd one. What it is going to do, and I mean, I say it's odd, but this one could be good again if you're, the ESL, ELL classroom. So if you're doing like alphabet words, so instead of, because when you're playing regularly, so let's just go back to the quiz here. So just this is a regular game, no theme. So if a student wants to choose a particular question, they say like, I'm going to choose question number 2, and you flip over question number 2. But if you go with a theme, so I'm going to choose a theme. Now, like if I do cats, this is where it gets a bit weird, because I mean, I'm not quite sure how the students are going to indicate which one they want. I guess they would have to describe the cat. Okay, maybe I want the cat with the pizza. In the bottom, yeah. So that's going to be the thing. So they're going to choose which particular cat they want. They'd have to describe it, I guess. But what would be, as I'm saying, better for ESL students would be something like that with S sounds. So they can, muscle, star, sandwich, surfboard, sushi, 7. So they're all words with S's, and so it's again just helping some of that the vocabulary. So it's just a little practice thing there. So if I say I'm going with sun, so when you do it, you're going to get the question. These are the smaller tubes of bronchi. What are these? So these little smaller branches in here, those are the bronchioles. So check the bronchioles. So this was team 1. Now only team 1 can get the points. What I do personally is if team 1 doesn't get it, team 2 has a chance to make sure they don't get it. And if team 2 doesn't get it, then team 1 has one last chance to get it. And if they get it, then they get the points. So let's just say they get it. We say okay, and they get the indicated points. Oh, and I didn't show you there. So like, I guess it'd be surf, because this is waves. As an S word, it's kind of a weird S word. But anyway, so what part of the respiratory system is responsible for gas exchange? So this is the alveoli, and it shows at the top here above the picture. This is how many points the question is worth. So the alveoli, and they get it. Okay, and then the medicine, sticky substance inside the nose that filters traps dirt in the air. So mucus, they get it. All right. And team 2, the sushi process. Now this one was only worth 5 points. The process of taking air into our body, and let's just say they get it wrong. Inhalation. It's just that noise, and they don't get it. It goes back to the other team. So it goes on until the end, and until when all the questions are done, then one team is declared the winner, and that's it. So that is it for Baamboozle, for the playing. I'm just going to close it up here. So games. So as I said, you can make your own. So my library games, I don't have any, so I can come in here and I can create a new game. And so I would just start to choose the games here, and I would start to load the things. So import some pictures, some GIFs, and things like that to start to make the game. But you see how the game looks, and it's going to be in that style. So it's really kind of like very similar to Jeopardy with the game board style, but with the fun animations and things. And it's so easily modifiable to the thing. And one thing too that I really have to make note of is that the developer of the game system, Ronan is his name. He is absolutely wonderful about wanting to get feedback on this. I mean, he actually reached out to me because of the channel I'm doing and asked me to look at this because I had not heard of it before. But he says he wants to just get more people involved in it, and he has a whole section in there on like making suggestions for improvement, and he really takes that stuff seriously. He wants to get your feedback. He wants to know what you think. How could you improve it? What kinds of other features we might like you? What other kinds of features might you like to see in the program? And just to make the whole experience a better thing. And he just says that it's through the support and ideas of other teachers that it's grown into what it has now. It just started off as a very small thing and grown and developed. But yeah, I just think it sounds like it's a wonderful thing, a wonderful product. The students look forward to it when we play, and like I said, it has so many topics out there. It's a nice, it's nice to change of pace from something like Kahoot, because Kahoot or like Kahoot, and I can't remember the name of the other one right now with the little block things, the block creatures. I can't remember the name of the one escapes me right now, but those ones require all the students to have their own devices. So if you're doing that one at home and students are on their devices, if you're an online teacher, then yes, those ones are easy to do. But this one, the nice thing about this is it can be easily done in a classroom setting where the students are just at their desks and the teacher is leading it. So it's a really easy one to implement into a classroom setting, and even on a very short notice, if you have something, something happens and you have to kind of change gears and readjust your lesson plans on a moment's notice, then hey, quickly pull up Baamboozle, look at one of the topics that you're doing in class currently, whether it's parts of speech, whether it's something to do with a science topic, a social studies topic, or math topic, or whatever. You're going to find things for here that can be done for it on Baamboozle, and you can just go with it. It's excellent. So highly recommend this. I said, suggest checking it out, and if you like what you see, then maybe consider upgrading into the Plus membership. I'm thinking of doing that myself for this, but I hope this helps. That's going to be it for this episode on Baamboozle. Hopefully this was helpful to you. Hopefully you were able to find out some things here that you didn't know already, and maybe this is a new topic for you. And please remember before you leave to hit like and subscribe down below. It really does help the channel, and I really do appreciate it. And maybe that little bell icon as well to remind yourself that when new content comes out, which is on a weekly basis. And I'd really appreciate that too. All right, well, I will see you again next time. I'm Craig Thompson Wood, your host on Teaching with Board Games, saying thanks for coming to the classroom.
Are you coming back to school with